All right, let's get a check on the top headlines in today's French newspapers. Diptyque Laurent has been avidly reading them for us early this morning. Hi there, Diptyque.
Hi, Kat.
And now the man who's dominating our headlines today, François Fillon, also dominating headlines in the print media.
That's right. No one will stop me from being a candidate. His famous fighting words at a rally in his honor yesterday in Paris. And it appears that his performance, at least for some of the papers, Kat, has been impressive. Let's look at La Croix, the Catholic paper, which says on its front page, François Fillon ne cède pas, he did not give in, while Le Figaro, the right-leaning paper, says François Fillon stands firm, il tient bon, despite numerous allies jumping ship and his ongoing legal battles. Le Figaro says Sunday's demonstration was a success, despite the fact that it was a risky bet given the kind of terrible week he had last week. One columnist in Le Figaro says it gave much needed oxygen to Fillon's presidential campaign and that it helped in redrawing the battle lines, if you like, between those who've abandoned him and those who continue to stand by him.
And he did manage to get thousands of people out in a torrential rain yesterday here in Paris. But those images of people standing there drenched, looking perhaps a little less than optimistic, that's inspired some skepticism among some other newspapers.
Yes, and traditionally, I mean, it really is a left-wing media that are pretty skeptical. We keep hearing this metaphor, jumping ship or Fillon's ship is sinking. Well, in fact, the right-wing paper L'Opinion has sent up that metaphor in this front-page cartoon, which is a reproduction of Titanic, if you like, with Fillon as Leonardo DiCaprio standing at the helm with Penelope or his Rose saying, "I'm king of the world." And behind him, you see two not so happy looking men, Alain Juppé and Nicolas Sarkozy, who have floating devices. The idea that is Fillon steering a sinking ship? Well, only time will tell.
All right. You mentioned that the left-wing papers are quite sceptical. No surprise there, but what did they have to say?
Well, let's look at Libération with this headline, Sans sourciller, which means without worry or fear, Fillon is continuing his presidential campaign despite a crippling scandal and despite the fact that the senior members of Les Républicains are meeting later on Monday. Now, I just want to show you explain the choice of words here. Sans sourciller. Sourciller in French really means to furrow your eyebrows, and it is a cheeky reference to Fillon's rather bushy eyebrows that has been sent up by cartoonists time and time again. Now, let's look at Le Parisien newspaper, which has a different take, saying all these ups and downs, these leaks and corridor talks and deals and negotiations, it really is starting to feel like Frank Underwood in House of Cards. This columnist says, I wonder if unconsciously François Fillon is a little excited to play so close to the fire. In some ways, it's sort of turning him on in a way.
All right. Well, he might be getting a kick out of this. It's not for us to say, I suppose. But the party definitely is not. It's really in disarray. I think the big news story of today is going to be that announcement from Alain Juppé, who perhaps is the plan B. That's a lot of the speculation.
Well, he has been evoked as that famous plan B time and time again ever since this scandal broke in January. Now, he will be speaking later on Monday, but a lot of the papers are speculating about what he could possibly say. Le Figaro says that Juppé has privately told his allies that he will never present his candidacy for the presidency as long as Fillon is still in the race, namely because he does not want to further divide the party and the French right, which, as you said, is already in disarray. Huffington Post has an interesting article evoking not the plan B, but a plan J for Juppé. Ever since the scandal in January, there's been much focus on whether Juppé would step in and take his place. In this article, the website's looking at why Plan J never really came to fruition. Well, first of all, there are a lot of reasons. He lost the primaries to Fillon, and nobody wants a second runner-up, if you like. Other reasons include that Juppé himself has been the focus of fake job scandals in the past, and for at least the conservative parts of the party, he's a little too moderate as a candidate.
And with all this talk of, leaks, scandals and whatnot, some of the newspapers today taking on the issue of honesty.
That's right. Let's end quickly with this cartoon cat that really underpins how difficult it is to be honest in politics. Transparency really is becoming a key electoral issue. That's what Le Parisien says in this article. And you see this cartoon here with this mayor, I guess, visibly talking to two businessmen. The man in the middle says, "You're profiting from our taxes." And the man on the right says, "So if you could reduce our taxes, we can work something out." It's a pretty damning statement on politics being a very tricky business and too often more synonymous with backdoor deals than it is transparency or integrity.
Certainly struggling to get back inside the circle of trust at the moment. Thanks very much, Diptyque Laurent, who'll be back later on looking through the international papers for us as well. We're going to take a short break now here on Live from Paris. Do stay tuned. Got plenty more coming up.